Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something pretty interesting. Tribulus terrestris.
Right.
You might know it as a gokshur, maybe puncture vine, or even goat head. Kind of intense names.
They are. And it's this plant with a real split personality.
Exactly. Highly regarded in traditional medicine, but also, well, it's a weed, a pretty aggressive one too. Apparently, its little spiky fruits can actually puncture tires.
Yeah, quite the contrast.
Yeah.
So our mission today is really to unpack that. Look at its long history, its chemistry, and then dive into what the modern research is saying about potential benefits, especially the ones people talk about most.
Okay, sounds good. But first, we absolutely have to put this out there.
Yeah.
This deep dive, it's for information only. We're looking at the research, summarizing it.
It is not medical advice.
Not at all. If you're thinking about any kind of supplement, especially something that might affect hormones, you really need to talk to your doctor or a qualified healthcare professional.
Absolutely essential. They know your specific situation. Okay, disclaimer done.
Right. So let's start with those ancient roots you mentioned. This isn't some new discovery.
Far from it. Tribulus terrestris goes way back. We're talking centuries of use in Indian Ayurveda.
Wow.
Traditional Chinese medicine, Unani systems too. It was used for, well, a whole range of things.
It's like what specifically?
Often as a general tonic, for overall vitality, but also more targeted uses, things like urinary tract issues, and definitely for sexual health.
Okay, so that traditional use gives us clues. What about the plant itself? What's inside it that might be doing these things?
Good question. Research shows it's kind of a chemical powerhouse. It's loaded with active compounds, primarily saponins. These are common in plants and have various biological effects. In Tribulus, the big one people focus on is protodiosine.
Protodiosine, got it.
Yeah, that's often cited as the main driver for some of its effects. But there are others too, flavonoids, alkaloids. It's this whole mix that science suggests is responsible for what it does.
Which leads us right into maybe the most common reason people look into Tribulus today, sexual health and fertility.
Right. That's probably its biggest claim to fame as the modern supplement world.
So what's the real story there? Does the research back it up? Is it this magic testosterone booster?
Well, it's complicated. Let's break it down. Research does suggest Tribulus extracts can have pro-erectile effects.
Okay.
And some studies show increased sexual desire, actually, in both men and women.
Interesting.
For both. Seems so. And specifically for men, some research indicates improvements in things like sperm volume and motility. So that could potentially link to better fertility rates.
Okay, so some positive signs there. But what about the testosterone connection? That seems to be the main selling point sometimes.
Yes, that's where we need to be really careful. So the idea is that prodeosin, that saponin we mentioned, gets converted in the body to DHEA. And DHEA is a precursor. It can turn into testosterone. But, and this is a big but, many of the studies that showed really significant jumps in testosterone, they weren't using just Tribulus. They were using formulas with multiple ingredients.
Ah, so Tribulus was part of a mix, not necessarily the sole driver.
Exactly. The effect of Tribulus on its own on testosterone levels is actually, well, much less clear. Some studies show little to no effect. It's still an open question.
That's a really important distinction.
It is. Plus, DHEA doesn't only become testosterone. It can also convert to other hormones like estrone, which is a type of estrogen.
Right, so it's not a simple A to B pathway.
Not at all. Hormone pathways are complex, which really underlines why just randomly taking something to boost one hormone without checking levels, it's probably not the best idea.
Makes total sense. So the big testosterone boost claim for Tribulus alone might be, well, a bit overblown based on current standalone evidence.
It seems that way, yes.
Yeah.
The evidence for Tribulus as part of a formulation might be different, but on its own, the picture is murky regarding direct, significant testosterone increases.
Okay. So beyond sexual health, what other areas does the research touch on? You mentioned urinary health earlier from its traditional use.
Yes, and modern research seems to support some of that. Findings suggest Tribulus has diuretic properties.
Meaning it helps you flush out excess water?
Right. And interestingly, some studies suggest it might be potassium sparing, which is a good thing in a diuretic. You don't lose too much potassium.
Okay.
There's also evidence for anti-urolithic activity, basically helping inhibit the formation of kidney stones.
That's quite specific.
It is. And then there's research looking at anti-diabetic effects, potential for helping regulate blood sugar and lipids.
Lipids, so like cholesterol.
Exactly. Which ties into other findings suggesting hypolipidemic lowering lipids and potential cardioprotective actions. benefits for cholesterol levels, and maybe heart function.
Wow, quite a range.
And it doesn't stop there. It's also been looked at for anti-inflammatory and even analgesic or pain-relieving effects.
So it really does touch on a lot of the traditional uses, it seems.
It seems to connect, yes. The science is exploring mechanisms behind what traditional systems observed.
Okay, practical side then. If someone is exploring this, say, with their doctor, what about dosages? And are there side effects?
Well, dosages used in studies often range from about 250 milligrams up to 500 milligrams, maybe taken up to 3 times a day.
Okay.
As for side effects, they seem generally mild in the studies available, but things like diarrhea have been reported by some people.
Right.
But again, given the potential effects, especially the hormonal nuances we discussed, working with a healthcare professional is key. Monitoring is important.
Absolutely. And it brings us back to that fascinating paradox we started with.
Yeah, the weed versus the remedy.
It really is something. This plant, a traditional powerhouse, explored by science for all these potential benefits, especially around sexual and urinary health, but with those scientific details being so crucial.
Right. The nuances matter.
And yet it's also this tough, spiky plant that gardeners hate and can flatten the bike tire.
It's a perfect example, isn't it? How something may be overlooked or even seen as a nuisance can hold this incredible history and complex chemistry.
It really makes you think.
It does. It kind of poses a bigger question, you know. How much more is hiding in plain sight in the plants around us? And how do we carefully, responsibly blend that ancient knowledge with what modern science can tell us?
A really provocative thought to end on. We hope this deep dive gave you some valuable insights. Remember to reflect on it and always, always talk to your healthcare provider for advice tailored to you.